Hey everybody, it's April Woodard, the host of Virginia Insider, where we take a look at people in and out of our coastal area and why they're so important to our area. Today we have a guest that is not from Virginia, but he's a friend of a Virginian, which means he's my friend. Please welcome four-time Emmy Award-winning, National Emmy Award-winning journalist, Kendis Gibson. Hey, Kendis, how you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be a Virginia resident in Northern Virginia.
I didn't know. Oh, well, yeah, you
So
worked in
Washington,
D.C.
D.C., yeah.
Where didn't you work? You didn't work in Hampton
True.
Roads.
I haven't worked in Hampton Roads yet.
Okay.
But, you know, when I think about it, I've lived and worked in most big cities in this country.
Yeah, I remember you were in San Francisco, you were in Miami.
I was in Miami, I was in Los Angeles, I was in San Diego, Chicago, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., New York. Never Texas, but I have standards.
Wow, don't mess with Texas. All right. Well, you have this wonderful book out called 5 Trips, and we had you on the show, Coast Live, to talk about it. Do you want to just kind of give us the log line for what the book is about?
I mean, thank you for reading it, first of all.
Completely.
For getting it. And
it took me a while.
It's not necessarily a feel-good book. It tells my life story as a child growing up in Belize and poverty there, and rising to the top of network television through 5 physical and literal psychedelic trips, and how those psychedelic trips helped me to cope with many different things, from childhood sexual abuse to trauma, suicide ideation, and panic attacks, and racial trauma at network level. And it also tells the stories of other people of color who are experts in plant medicine field. And it tells their psychedelic trips as well as their expertise on the topic right now.
And, you know, I go back to when, I don't remember where we met. It may have been at NABJ, which is National Association of Black Journalists. Yeah. But I know that I go to your party twice a year. Yeah. You have Brown Folks Party, and it's a gathering of executives and hosts. And that's when we became closer. But what I learned from that experience is so good for the soul to go and talk to other people who are in lower positions than I am or higher positions than I am, and realize that we have some of the same things going on. Like today, we just chatted for a few minutes and realized there were some things that were going on, and in one case your situation's worse than mine, and one situation mine's worse than yours. So I say that to pivot to, why is it important as a journalist to share your story as you're doing, especially you're here this week to share it with aspiring journalists at Norfolk State University?
No, I mean, because we're all going through some things.
Yeah.
We're all going through some level of, you're dealing with this boss, we're doing all these different jobs now, or the equipment might be crappy, but you think like, oh, it's nicer there, whatever. So it's so important to share like what we're experiencing, what we're dealing with, and not necessarily for it to be a negative thing, but to kind of just say like, it's okay, here's how I navigated this, or how are you navigating this in your world. And that's not to say it's just limited to TV news, but any industry. I remember when I got to ABC as a correspondent, and Cecilia Vega, who was a correspondent at the time, and she's now a 60 Minutes correspondent and is amazing. She made a point of us, the brown folks, discussing salaries, because many of us as young people of color, we didn't grow up with the kind of money that's available there in the TV industry at the network level. And so in a lot of times we kind of have this imposter syndrome, and when the bosses will say, oh, we're just going to give you that, we're like, okay, yes, because that's the most money that anybody
we've ever had. And your agent is probably not your specific agent, but agents are like, yeah, go for it. That's what you're going to get.
Exactly.
And you have nothing else to gauge it against.
Yeah. So Cecilia made a point of like, with a close-knit of correspondents, like, well, this is what they offered me. This is what they offered Peter Alexander at NBC to be a White House correspondent. And here's what I think you should ask for. So it's very, very important to kind of share those sort of information as well.
Right. I did not know that I had mental health issues until I had mental health issues. I mean, there's a history of mental health struggle with my mom, but I did not know that, doing 9/11, having miscarriages on the job, going back the next day, running for your life when there was the blackout in New York City, until I stopped doing that job, and then I had nothing but silence, and I was, well, not silence, I had children that I was taking to school, but I had moments where I was just quiet. Did I realize, oh my gosh, I might need some help?
Yeah.
When did you realize it? And would you do it differently now that you're of a certain age, knowing that you were struggling all along?
I wouldn't do it differently
Okay.
because of where I am right now, physically, mentally, the journey with all the pain that I've gone through
Right.
was definitely worth me being where I am right now. I couldn't be happier to be where I am. And I think I needed to go through all of those experiences, have several jobs in many different places to be able to be appreciative of the job that I have now and the people
Right.
that I'm surrounded by right now. Gaining the friendships over the years that's helped me to be where I am right now. So I would totally do it over again. The thing is, you mentioned running through the streets of New York during the blackout. You mentioned 9/11. And we as journalists, as newscasters, show up to people's worst days.
Yeah, right.
Everybody that you're having 9/11 or even a car accident
Right.
where and there's an unexpected death, and we show up to that. That's the worst day of that person's life, and we walk away and we think, oh, okay, we don't have any of the scars that are still there with us mentally and physically, but now we're taking on hits every day
Right.
that we're doing negative stories. And so it's so important for us that I've learned over the years to protect our peace and yes, to empathize with whatever tragedy we're reporting on or seeing, but also pay attention to how that is living with you beyond that story.
This morning, as I was thinking about our interview, I was thinking about the first time I saw a dead body. And it was here in this market on Elbow Road, and a woman had been decapitated, and they found her head.
Wow.
And I was like, how did I even deal with that? And, you kind of compartmentalize it.
Yeah.
And now that I think about it, I'm like, my gosh, I was just so young and so green and didn't know any better and was just like, let me cover this story.
Yeah.
But then you think about it as an adult, and then you have feelings about it because you're like, oh my gosh, that was somebody's kid. Whose daughter was it? Who did it? All of those types of things. You're still in news. I'm in the happy land.
You were in the happy land.
I'm in the happy land doing lifestyle. We don't talk politics. It's very fun and cheeky. But you're still doing hard news in New York, the
In New
number
York.
one market.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you get by day to day when you're reading scripts and you're like, breaking down information like somebody was really tragically, not overused tragically, killed?
Well, what I've learned as my own defense mechanism is to not shy away from it like I used to.
Okay.
I would not think that that's somebody's mom or that's someone's daughter because I didn't want to carry that weight with me. So I embrace the sadness. I empathize with folks that are going through a tragedy. I will watch the political world and watch the death and destruction that takes place on a daily basis in New York and report on it and allow myself to feel something for those people. And I think that allows me to be able to kind of embrace the sadness of it and to have that tragedy right there and to be able to be like, okay, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And not move on, but be able to carry on with my life.
All right, let's turn to 5 trips. You've been to South by Southwest.
Been to South by
And
Southwest.
you've been all over promoting this book.
Yeah.
Tell me about the process of promoting it, but knowing that it's your story and being so vulnerable to talk about sexual abuse, talk about suicide ideation, and then also, which is somewhat controversial, talking about mushrooms and using it.
Well, plant medicine.
Plant medicine, there you go.
Plant medicine, psychedelics, magic mushroom. It is a Schedule 1 illegal drug here in the United States. But
what's the status in Virginia? Do you know?
Virginia, it is illegal. Washington, D.C., it is legal.
Oh.
It is sold at the dispensaries. It's not legal in a number of different states. Oregon, it's legal. Colorado just passed legislation to make it legal for therapy. But there have been so many studies about it and the positive effects of it. Johns Hopkins did a massive study about it, showing that it really, really can help increase or decrease your depression for so many people, and that's been the impact it's had on me in helping me with my depression, helped me with my panic attacks, and a number of different things that ail me. So, yes, is it controversial? It's getting increasingly less controversial. There's been a gentrification of mushrooms lately. You heard Oprah came out, so that's clearly gentrification.
Yeah.
So,
not typically how I think about that word, but okay.
But we knew we've jumped the shark. If Oprah's on board,
everybody's okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, a lot of people are talking about it, and increasingly so, and I'm happy to hear that. And it's great that you have the likes of Oprah saying, I have heard so many positive effects of psychedelics, and this is why, and magic mushrooms, and this is why she's talking a little bit more about it, especially in the brown and black community, where we don't talk enough about mental health issues,
right.
And we think about and talk about these sort of things, psychedelics, and we're like, it's too scary, weird.
Yeah.
We were talking about it yesterday with your best friend, and her reaction is the same reaction I get with a lot of people of color. It's, what if I don't come back?
Right,
from my
and that
trip?
was, she talked about it this morning too.
Yeah.
So my best friend is a doctor, a medical doctor. So of course she's like, you take one and you never come back the same, and so that was her thought. But
it's not Pet Cemetery.
No? Okay, well we're just kind of like, I think we're old heads now, not you, but me and my best friend. And so we're just like, oh my gosh, clutch the pearls.
Oh my gosh, I might be happy.
Right.
I might have fun.
Well, that, yeah.
Oh
right.
no.
Oh no.
Scary.
Okay.
I might laugh a lot.
So what do you say to people like us who were like, looking at you like, oh my God, what if we don't come back?
Y'all will get there. You will get to the point where you'll find out that with these conversations increasingly and more people coming out and talking about it and the positive effects of it, and you will get there. And
okay.
I'm convinced.
I don't want to be like an old prude that's like, not with it.
I mean, listen, I've been talking about the book and psychedelics for a little bit now, and I met an 85-year-old woman who was like, she lost her husband a few years ago, and she was like, I want some.
Okay.
I'm like, well, good luck finding it.
Right, yeah.
But I think anybody can benefit from these sort of things, plant medicine. It's not necessarily, though, for everyone.
Right.
Because some people might not be of the right mindset for it.
And
but
might not come back.
They will always come back and come back better. But anyone can benefit from it. It is the only unique and specified medicine that is out there. If we take a sleeping pill at the same time, same dosage, same body weight, whatever, we both fall asleep. Okay. If we take the same amount of psilocybin, which is the active ingredient in magic mushroom, at the same time, same body weight, whatever, we will get what our bodies and our minds want us to get out of it.
Okay, all right, I need you to break it down. So when you take it, what happens? I read everything in your book, but the audience hasn't read it. And then how long does it take for you to, I guess, feel better with your mental health?
When you take it, the walls will melt, your face will fall off.
Oh, great. I don't want my face to fall off.
No, I mean, from a therapeutic standpoint, which is what I wrote about, and I do it mostly. You're usually in a nice, comfortable room. You're laying down. You'll take depending on how much experience you've had, a moderate dose, which is about 2 grams.
Okay.
Usually crushed up. It is usually put in orange juice or so, because that helps to activate the chemicals.
Okay.
When it gets into your stomach, the acid in your stomach activates it. So by putting it in orange juice or something with the citrus, you're already activating it, and so it gets into your system quicker, and it also helps elevate like the active ingredient in the magic mushroom. So you'll lay there, eyes closed. There might be somebody doing a sound bath, making different sounds around you.
So there are other people who are
Help
advocates,
curating.
or okay.
Yep, exactly. And then you just wait there for the visuals to kick in.
And what kind of visuals do you get?
It depends on what your mind wants you. You know, I had a lot of.
Do you go in like with an intention? Like, do you say,
do
okay,
try
I'm
to
going to
have an
have
intention.
a trip about my family to deal with some family trauma? Okay.
Yeah, or like, you know, I dreamt, I had the intention of coming out of it with $1 million and a bevy of hookups.
Okay, and how did that
go? I got neither.
Oh, boy.
No, the last one that I did with intention was for gratitude, and I didn't feel as if once I stepped out of the experience, it wasn't on your face gratitude, but it showed me different people in my world that I needed to be thankful for when I came out of it. So the visuals could be, last one was a lot of rainbow colors that I would see flashing in front of me. I saw snakes for a little bit. I hate snakes, but I was told that snakes are a powerful image when you get them in the psychedelic world. And then I saw or felt the energy of like some of my ancestors, some people who had died in the previous years and the previous decades, and I didn't see them, but I knew they were right there off on my shoulder. And you know, it's usually like the visuals will just kind of flash over your brain, and it'll come back to a common theme, which is the message that it's trying to get you to understand. And it's all depending on exactly what you are or what you're looking for. You might not understand exactly what the message is that it's trying to get to you, but that's where the process of integration comes in, where you talk about the experience the next day, and you try to keep a good mindfulness of exactly what you got from that experience, and have it carry about your day on a day-to-day basis, and try to integrate it really into your life. So the experience itself might be just like 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
And then it starts going out of your system.
But you gotta have like a good day to participate. 4 hours.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
Is it?
Well, for me,
That's
I
prime-
can't sit in a chair for
that's
4
prime
hours to
time.
get my hair done. So.
That's prime time. You're just laying there, you know, and
do nothing, because you can't drive, you can't, cook, you can't do any of those things.
you don't want to do any of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to do them anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, you're just working on you.
Okay.
At the time. But from a microdosing standpoint, which a lot of people do, and I do, that's just recreational, and that's just fun.
Okay.
That's what I'll convince y'all to do someday.
Okay, so no, you won't. So just to keep that clear, in case y'all are like, what's she gonna say? So we became closer through this book. Like I said, we had a camaraderie, we knew each other, but we've become closer. And of course, one of the interviews I did with you was, I didn't even know that you were going through all of this. I learned a lot about you based on the book. And so I guess what I want to say is, when I talk to you, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, don't share that with Kendis because he might be going through a lot. Or, I have different people for different problems in my life. And it's like, okay, well, he's off limits because he might be dealing with some mental health issues. So how are you doing now? And I talk to you and you're listing all of these top names that you just helped through their issues, or this person's having issues and this person's having issues. And you're like a counselor and a person who people turn to. So how are you doing that and maintaining your own mental health? And the reason why I ask is I'm also a pastor's wife. So my husband is bringing all of these things at home. We're dealing with people who are struggling or people who have financial problems, people who have problems with their children. I have my own problems, and the weight is heavy.
Yeah.
So then how do you take on other people's issues? Like when I call you and say, Kendis, help me out, blah, 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 blah.
I mean, I consider myself a good listener, and I like to be able to look at all these different issues from 30,000 feet and just be like, is that really that big of a deal? Maybe it's because I've been to the edge of just literally like the edge of falling out of my building, that I feel as if there's nothing that deep in life nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, whatever we might believe is happening. And yes, there's death and destruction and all that stuff that surrounds us and that we might encounter, but you know, we just kind of have to just be more appreciative of everything that we have, and that's that gratitude is what grounds me.
So you don't like microdose after you talk to me on the phone?
No, I'm microdosing when I'm speaking with you.
Go ahead, girl. Tell me what your problems are.
Yeah, it's like, can I get another orange juice?
Oh, no. Don't say that. Okay. The last question is always, what is the secret to life?
What's the secret to life?
What is the secret to life? If you were to tell somebody, this is the secret to this whole thing, you gotta... What's your secret to
Again,
life?
it is gratitude, and it is, and it took me a while to learn that, but it is gratitude. It's being thankful for all of these gifts that surround us and that we have, even if you have issues, health issues. You know, there's always something to be thankful for, and I think if you go through life with that attitude, you'll smile more, you'll be more appreciative of people, you'll be more appreciative of the jobs that you have, and just how all of this came together, right? This universe. And when I started this journey about 5 years ago with plant medicines and all that, like if I heard somebody talking the way that I talk nowadays, I'd be like, out of here.
That's a crunch, a junk, a bunch of, you know. Well,
exactly.
I'm trying to keep it PC. You can cuss, I can't.
I can cuss?
Yeah, you're allowed
I'd be
to.
like, get the fuck out of here.
Right, there you go. All right.
That felt good. It felt good to cuss.
Good. You could have cussed. I just try
Sorry,
not to.
that microphone.
On microphones. Yeah.
But no.
When it's recorded. I am the daughter of a sailor. I do have to say that.
Oh, you're the daughter. Okay.
My dad was a sailor back in the day. Yeah.
So
he
you
went
heard
to
his
college.
mouth.
Oh my gosh, he got to college with the GI Bill and everything. So yeah, he
so
was.
that's
a
why you
cusser.
married a pastor.
There you go. To
Repenting
settle me
all
down.
these years.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, let me just say this, Kendis. I love you. You are
Thank
so
you.
adorable, and I'm so proud of you. And it's such a privilege to know you and to get to know you even more. And I see so many wonderful things for you. The sky is the limit, and you know you don't have to settle with where you are, what you're doing, because you just have so much joy and so much to offer everybody. So I can't wait to talk to you again about the next big thing that you're going to do, part 2, 10 trips or whatever. And I appreciate you being on Virginia Insider.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Love you.
you.
Really appreciate your
Love
support and
you.
friendship.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for Virginia Insider with Kendis Gibson and April Woodard. We'll see you next time. Take care.